What's good, YouTube? Flash Speaks back, man. Another video. Yeah, I'm still wearing Eagles Super Bowl 59 gear. Yeah, I mean that's just going to be something y'all got to deal with. That's just something y'all going to have to deal with, man, for the rest of the season. The rest of the year, it just is what it is. Anyway, I watched the women's young ladies basketball, LSU versus Alabama. And so this is the, I don't know, fifth game, sixth game, whatever. Of several games. This is just one of several games I watched where, LSU has a chance to win. And the reason they don't win could easily be pointed to, the performance of Flau'jae Johnson, Big Foe. A player who I put myself out there and advocated for a number of times this season when I decided to speak on women's basketball and who I think is some of the best players in the country and so on. And I must say, man, I really had to think long and hard to find a basketball player or a sports player in general who disappointed me at the level of or more than Flaujae has. I mean, 6 points and I believe 38 minutes or 36 minutes, something or other. Horrible shooting. Down the stretch, can't be counted on. Got to go to underclassmen for points and just on and on. And I don't understand it. Typically for something like this, the reason should be that you just lack the ability. You lack the skill set. But that's not the case, and I refuse to believe that is the case. I believe Flau'jae has the skill set, the size, the athleticism. And on any given night, I don't see an athlete more athletic than her on the floor, pretty much in any of these games that I'm watching. Somehow, some way, she's just not coming up for her team, not showing up for her team, man. And that's horrible. That's horrible. I was of the opinion that, she was ready to go and try out for enter the draft for the W. Hell, was I wrong about that? There's something wrong, and it's one of the toughest situations in sports because when you don't see a problem that you can identify when it comes to talent or skill level, then the only other thing it could be is something mental, something psychological. And how do you fix that? It's the toughest thing there is. There's sports psychology. Perhaps you could talk to a psychologist who digs deep into why you're having these problems. Maybe she needs to consult one, or maybe she has and needs to go through that. I don't know. But what I see is a player that lacks confidence, in herself. Especially when the moments gets big, especially in big games. And that's, that type of player is useless. What I don't understand is, excuse me. What I don't understand is, you're a player that has been in Sweet 16s. Not only that, you've been in Elite Eights. Not only that, you've been in Final Fours. Not only that, you've been in games where you won it all. And somehow in big games, the moment's too big. That's not good. No moment should be too big for someone who is a champion. No moment should be too big. Now, I get it, during that championship run. Angel Reese and others were really the leaders of the team. You're talking about she was an underclassman, I believe a freshman at the time. So it's easier to perform oftentimes as that auxiliary player, that fourth option, that third option. I understand that. So now when you're expected to be the first option, the second option now, because I believe in the beginning of the season, the coach probably wanted her to be the main option, but she's not built for it right now. Don't know if she ever will be, but right now she's clearly not built for it. You got to go to underclassmen like Michaela Williams, who's more built for the situation. She's more accustomed, or she's better at playing through contact and those different types of things that makes her more suitable for it. But that's not, in my opinion, going to be enough for LSU, because I just don't see, put it this way, if Michaela Williams is your best player, your number one option on your team, how far do you go? And then I get the argument that Morrow is the best player. Perhaps Morrow is really undersized, and working hard and having dog in you and all of that stuff is good and it helps, but it only gets you so far when you go up against players that just have longer wingspans, players that have more athleticism, players that are just bigger. At a certain point, Flau'jae is the one that you look at and you look at the measurables, and you figure she should be dominating. She should be dominating. I'm not talking about on the glass or anything like that. I'm talking about as that two-way scorer, that two-way player that can score and that should be locking down her defender. But it's not happening. And I don't understand why. There's nothing physical that I'm seeing besides, okay, maybe she needs to hit the weight room a little bit more. But you're playing against other college players, right? It's up here. It's up here. It's all up here. And man, if it's one person that may be in need of a mentor, like a Kobe Bryant, like a Michael Jordan, as a mentor, and I would mention maybe some women, maybe a Cheryl Swoops, maybe a Cheryl Miller or someone, a Coop, that could just, I don't know if it's a pep talk or whatever. It's her, man. It's her. I don't see the physical injury. And if it's a situation, so I've heard one theory that it's Moki. And I agree to a certain extent. But I'm also understanding why Moki does it. Like, if I'm running that team, I'm probably going to work through Morrow as well. Morrow is the dog, and so is Williams. Number 50, who doesn't have the talent, half the talent, as those three I just named, has more dog in her. She just doesn't have the ability. It's sad. There is no solitary reason why Flau'jae shouldn't be as effective as Paige. I mean, if you're just looking at them outwardly, just to, what the skill set should be, it should look like, but it's all up here. And I'm just shocked, because part of what attracted me to her as a player, was her story. Her story is so inspirational, man. We're talking about, and I assumed that because she was able to perform under the bright lights on America's Got Talent, right? I think the name of the show is. I assumed that if you could perform under those bright lights and under those circumstances, that same character trait or attribute would transfer over into the basketball game, and it has not. She'll give you 20 points against unranked teams that don't play defense. Goes up against the big dogs, and It looks like you need to stay your ass on the porch when that happens, and that's just sad. It's really sad. I don't know what it is, but she better not try to come out. I think she needs to stay another year, but she almost looks like she's 2 years away. Maybe less focus on rap, less focus on publicizing, your relationship with your boyfriend. Though I'm happy for you. I'm happy to hear she has an actual boyfriend too. I'm happy about all of that. But to perform at that highest level, it requires a tremendous amount of focus. And I think it's only few players who can do that while doing things on the side, podcasts, music, so on. Few can do both, I think. I think what she probably needs, man, I don't know, maybe study different methodologies that help one to focus. Tom Brady used to practice Zen meditation. Phil Jackson actually taught the Bulls, of the 90s, Zen meditation, taught the art of, picturing the game before you're out there. Different things like that. Guys like Jalen Hurts have a certain mental makeup where they're obsessed with the concept of focus and focusing on the game, seeing it before it happens, all of these different things. And I think that's what she needs, man, because it isn't natural. She goes out there and she allows too many things to discourage her and cause her to be scared and not play at her top level and start missing shots, that should be automatic and those types of things. And, I really feel more bad and sorry for her more than anything, because I see just this amazing, immense talent there that is not being fostered. It's not manifesting itself when it needs to. And I can't advocate for it right now. I just can't. What can I say? Get with y'all later, man. Peace.